Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Waltz Masterclass. My name is Vaughan, the founder of Ballroom Mastery, and it is amazing to have you here. I have a very special 4-episode masterclass lined up for you all. Now, if you're a beginner dancer, and this is your first sort of few steps onto the floor, maybe the first year, maybe the first 2 years into dancing, maybe the last few years haven't been so good, right? This is a great masterclass to bring you back to the basics and introduce the basics. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off by understanding 3 foundations. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's very, very important skills. They are the skills upon which that if you do not have them, you are going to constantly suck and be stuck to the world of dancing on a table at a pub and being laughed at. We don't want that, all right? So these foundations are gonna be very important. This class will be quite in depth, so you can go back through it again, which is probably a good idea to do things more than once, right? And then we're gonna build on it next week, the week after, and in the last week, we're gonna actually use, well, not use, probably the wrong word, but we're gonna show you how to apply it with a partner. So the next 3 lessons are gonna be solo, just you and me, dancing together. No one has to watch, no one has to see it. You know, it's all behind closed doors. You get to do it in private before it goes to public. And then we'll show you how to put it with a partner as well. It's very important to learn solo first, and then you get the ability to try it with a partner. It's very hard to improve with a partner sometimes in front of you bashing their knees, especially when you're a beginner. All right, so that's our little introduction. Leave a question in the comment section of this video, and I'll do my best to come back to it at the end. Now, if I can look at this beginning part for you, we're gonna have a demo just to start with, so you understand what we're working with. So if we look at this demo, boom, we've got foot cam, live and ready to go. Here's where you get to copy things a few times over and over again, especially if this is the first time you are doing this. Now, we're gonna use the box waltz as a very simple and elegant pattern, very basic, no turning is required on this one. So here's what we're gonna do. I'll show it to you first. I might even put a little bit of music on so you can get it. All right, let me just make sure I've got that music playing. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, right, so that there, that is our left foot close change. Now let's try it with the right as well. So just to demo it out, forward and then back, okay? So there's literally our box waltz, all right? Now, it's a little hard for me to hear the music as I do this. Sometimes it's a bit funny. So I might try it one more time with a little bit of the sound. It's one of the reasons I love doing live. You never know what's going to happen, all right? It's part of the challenge for both of us. Here we go. So, and. Okay, so here I would like to explain what is actually happening. If you have a look at the screen, you will notice that I diagrammed this out so you can, especially for those who learn a little bit more visually or like to study, you're in the right place. You see this little start here? Bang, there you go. You get back there, $200. We're gonna do Monopoly style. So listen, go forward, right? You'll see the red box here. That indicates what we call the right foot close change, and then the left foot is the white box, and that's called the left foot close change. Now, why this is so important is that the use of your feet, the use of your body weight, like your posture, closing and changing your weight and doing it to time is actually the hallmark of good ballroom dancing, right? So the more that you can get used to your feet doing certain things and creating that foundation, the easier it is in the long run to actually learn. So if you see here where it says start here, your feet would be closed, you will step straight forward, then you'll take a side step and close, and then you will go back following that arrow and then to the side and return back to where you came from, right? Very, very important. Now, if you start with the left foot, it's the natural opposite, okay? Now, for those who'd like to know, and this is important technical definition to understand, a natural turn is with the right foot for the man, and a reverse turn is with the left foot for the man. It's when we're turning to the left and turning to the right. Now, you'll get used to those over time. And one of the, what is it called? One of the main things that I would like to bring up to your attention is when you're first starting out, is you're gonna wanna make sure that you take notes, okay? So you have a book, you learn the names, you learn the timing, and then you take this class again and you go, I didn't do that. So in terms of the foundations, which we're about to get into, after I teach the pattern, we're gonna be looking at posture, feet, and timing as sort of the three categories to begin your like waltz journey, if you will. And again, the reason this is so important is that once you understand how to use your feet like this, you exponentially compound your skill acquisition over time. So what that means is that if you get the feet to behave and you're like, you listen to me, and it takes a while to go from the brain to the feet, right? Probably 2 or 3 years to really understand how to use your feet properly. I mean, good footwork, good foot positions, how to lower correctly. All of that is like the first 2 or 3 years of your dancing. Once you get that as a skill, my God, you can do all the other dances like the waltz, the foxtrot, the quick step, the waltz. We are doing the waltz, and the Viennese waltz, right? Tango is a little bit different, but we're learning to master our feet, yeah? Okay, so let's get back to this pattern just for a quick second. Okay, so that you can keep in your mind and come back to this as we do the pattern. The next part I want to show real quick is that if you divide the box in half, all right, you'll see this, what we call the forward half. You'll hear me mention that, especially when this comes to turn. This is really important to understand, okay? Really, really important, especially if you want to turn, and you have to turn if you want to dance. So the forward half and the backward half. Now that's man or lady. This doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's whoever's moving, right? That's the key. Now, so I've divided with that little dot, dot, dot line in there. So you can understand that we go forward, but we don't necessarily go backwards at the same time. Sometimes we continue moving forward, for example. So in this box, we're going to use this next lesson to start to turn, to understand the framework for that. But if you hear me say the forward half, it's referred to in ballroom dancing as the first 3 steps, steps 1 to 3. The backward half is referred to as 4, 5, 6. Not to be confused with timing, but it does relate to that. It's actually the steps themselves. So that's important when you learn to partner dance, to understand, are you going forward? Are you actually going backward? Because those two things really do matter. Let's have a look here at the actual pattern again. So I'm going to go through and teach the basic pattern. One of the things that if you do come to a class of mine in person is I'm big on the actual pattern, right? Where are we going? And then what's actually happening with the feet. Then what we do from there is we take it to the next introductory level, which is understanding the footwork, right? So then we look at the heels, the toes, what they're actually doing. They're going up, down. How do we use the feet at a very basic level? But that makes sense, right? Once you've got the pattern. A lot of people get confused with technique because they're trying to do technique, they have no layer, no foundation. So here's the foundation for you, okay? And we'll take it from the beginning. Now, the first one I'll do is the left foot closed change. So with the left foot, all we're gonna do is think of going forward, step to the side, close your feet. That's it. Now go back on the right foot. Back, side, close, change feet. All right? That's the basic pattern. So I want you to try that. We'll do it to music in a second, right? Or you can do it to music, I should say. Now, let's try the right foot close change. So again, go right foot forward, forward, then to the side, close, change feet, and then backwards to the side, close, and change feet. Okay? In terms of the actual technical parts of that, don't worry, we will go through that together, and you can copy me at home again in the replay. But please remember what I said. In terms of learning the pattern, it's good to say what you're doing. So forward, side, close, and then back, side, together. Now with that, we learn to turn, all right? And then I'll give you some more nuanced and important ideas around that as well. Okay, so let's try that real quick with a little bit of music, okay? Actually, no, you know what? No. My coffee is still yet to kick in. We will do that in a second. I would like to count first, so let's just backtrack for a minute. Practice that box by yourself now, in the replay particularly. I need to now move into the actual foundation, the principle. So we're going to work on the postures, like the first starting point for this. So let's move forward. Awesome to have you here. Okay. So the foundations. Posture. Okay, let me ask you, what is posture? All right, so most people when they say, oh, posture is how you stand up, and I think, okay, so how do you do that? And they go, take a big breath, right? So one of the things you have to do is identify your problem first, right? So it's not inhaling and then holding your breath and dying on the dance floor. You want to make sure that when you have posture, it's a 3D composition of your body. It is not just one axis. You're not just stretching up, for example, okay? And stretching too much creates tension anyway, and in ballroom dancing, are you ready for it? We want to be relaxed. What? So when you learn, it's a little bit like stressful. Fair enough, it's a lot of information. But Once you get these foundations working for you, you'll start to have the ability to relax because you're not going to lose balance, all right? And overall, if you ask me, what are you trying to do here with the technique? And any technique pieces you get, you're trying to add it in so that you have more balance. With balance, you have complete control of your dancing, your musicality, your expression, the ability to dance with someone. It's really, really important, obviously. But without those technical ingredients, you can't do it. So one of the starting points, the first foundation is, of course, posture. So where do we look at posture? Well, first of all, how do you actually stand? Do you stand like Quasimodo, right? Or do you stand with like that the city dude at the bar, just like the crutch forward, like the chest hair popping right out, okay? How do you actually hold your body? Now, here's what I want you to think about, okay? A very simple tip for you is to run on the spot. What this does is it naturally, especially if you've been sitting, it actually aligns your pelvis in the right spot. So for example, okay, you stand up and you might run like this. Don't run weird, right? You run with the knees just lifting up. Hold your core as best you can and just lift the knees, so like that. So just run on the spot, okay? Lifting the knees up. Notice your core engaging and your pelvis. That actually brings you into the most simple way to get the base of your posture, which is here, okay? It is a good thing to do just before. Now, it might be a bit weird if someone's in front of you, so don't do it with someone in front of you, right? But you could probably feel that if you did it. By the way, 10 points if you do it at work right now. Go. Stand up, just run on the spot, see if anyone notices. But you'll feel this, go, oh, that's engaged, right? That's awesome. Now, the second part of the postural principle is to get your an alignment between the side of your body, right? So we call this the frontal plane of movement right here, okay? So when you walk as a human, which I hope you are, right, you go forward and you go backward. You also have what we call a turning plane, which is down the middle of your body there. That axis there, it's called our vertical axis, what we turn around, okay? And then we have our sway plane, our horizontal plane of movement. Those three planes there create a center for us, which is what we're going to now talk about in a second with regard to posture. But once you've got your pelvis aligned, what do you have to do? Put your thumb, okay, where your, I don't know the actual like proper terminology, but basically where your cheekbone is, right where your jaw touches towards the ear. So imagine there's a dot there. All right, now take your other thumb and then put that just on the center of your shoulder. Those 2 points should have a line between them when your head is in the correct position, okay? So if my head goes back, you can see the posture is going to be back weighted. That's what we call it. Here's one of the bigger problems. And I've noticed, so I've taught in my own studio at least for 12 years, okay? Weekly running classes with adults. I've noticed commonalities between men in their problems and women, and they're sometimes different. So for example, a lot of men lead with the head forward, shoulders rounded a lot more, okay? Women, particularly because of the head weight, get their weight backwards, right? So how do we fix that? Well, we get those 2 points to line up. Now, the third point is take your index finger, bang, put that right in the middle of your hip bone. So those 3 dots, what you actually try to line up. Now, it doesn't matter if you bend your knees, all right? So if you bend your knees in ballroom dancing, and you notice my butt go out, good old duck butt kicking in, that is going to make your weight get pulled down, and you're going to smash your face up into your partner's chest. Not that kind of dancing, is it, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting these 3 points lined up. And then, now it's going to feel a bit rigid, to be fair. You probably won't be able to breathe, especially if you take a big breath. Now you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe. But the point is, you in your mind, you have those always, no matter if you're on your toes, no matter if you're lowering, you try to get those 3 points to stay together. Now we're going to do that with a box waltz now, and I just want you to pay attention. We haven't talked about feet yet. Don't worry about the feet. Just do the actual pattern with this posture. That's actually part of what we're going to train, right? Is these foundations are going to go in the most simple way, because just a little side note here for anyone who actually does dance or do competitive dancing or is a low-grade competitor or has aspirations for it, or does lots of private lessons, does medals. One of the common problems is that people focus way too much on their routine and not enough on their actual like physicality, their body, the way they hold their body as they do steps. Because once you get into hard choreography, you're in trouble, right? Because your body won't be able to handle the movement, right? And so then you have worse problems, right? You crumple. I call it the crumple zone of dancing. You get like full on in. Anyways, that causes massive problems down the track. So it's very important we use basic stuff. No matter how good you think you are never beyond, and I mean this, you are never beyond basics, okay? Every legend in dancing will always tell you, you are not above basics. If you think so, bang, you got to get out, okay? It's probably no wonder you don't have a partner. Look at that attitude, right? You have to be humble. You've got to learn. So now if we look at let's do this one, do a little Pip. What's up, Pip? Okay, I might swap these two actually. Let's leave that. So because we're not focusing on the feet, ladies and gentlemen, just give me a quick little second here. See if I can swap this out. Yeah, we'll do that. Look at this technology. What's up? Doing it on the fly. Okay. Oh, nobody, what's going on? Let's get out of that Oompa Loompa color. All right, so we're doing this together, okay? I might do it side on, actually. It's probably a bit easier. So you can still focus on the feet there, but you'll notice now we're going to aim for having those 3 points, right, within the pattern. So do a little run. What's up? Doing the run properly. Looking awesome, looking like a prancing pony. Okay, now, from here. Of course, we'll come back to the arms in a second, but for now, I want you to just pay attention to those 3 points and do the pattern. So forward, side, close, head, shoulders, hips, and feet. I almost went to the nursery rhyme. All right, do it again. So with the left foot. Okay, now let's go the other way. So this time with the right foot. Okay, so keeping those 3 points here. If you have to put your hands up like a weirdo, do it. All right, so forward, side, close, and then back, side, together. Okay, now notice something. Did your butt go out when you dance? Because a lot of the times, as soon as someone steps forward, they go like this, right? They lean. So your job is to keep in mind this foundation, all right? With the feet, which we'll get to in a second, your job is to keep the posture, all right? Keep that in mind. Your job is to keep the posture. Okay, now if I just hand this bad boy up. Okay, so, hope you're having fun. I am, and I'm gonna dump a lot of knowledge on you. But Waltz is amazing to set your life up correctly. Okay, so if we look at posture, it falls under the category of weight. Okay, not like waiting for a drink at the bar too long and getting impatient. I'm talking about like body weight, physical weight, not how heavy you are, but the actual mass of body that you move. So with good postural principles, bang, we now have the ability to control our balance, all right? Now what's responsible for our balance, of course, is our feet and our arms. So not only do we have to make sure we keep what we call the body stacked. So I think of this, I teach this principle in my plug time, Ballroom Mastery Academy, ladies and gentlemen. You should join. It's pretty awesome, right? It's like 6 weeks of very in-depth videos with specific exercises on all this sort of stuff. Did you notice I went to like an ad voice? That's pretty good. So ballroommastery.tv, come and join me. All right, so we're stacking our body. I call it the Jenga principle, right? So if you pull out the block correctly in Jenga, you get to play more, right? If you pull it out incorrectly, it tumbles over. So that's essentially here. If you pull out that piece the wrong way, you crash, right? You burn. Now, at a high level of dancing, we use our hips in a very different manner, but guess what? The body is stacked still. So no matter what I'm doing with the legs or body, there's no rippling, right? Okay. So when we have our movement coming through good posture, there's a center. So we're going to do our little box again. I'll get you to hold your core just like that. And this is so you can actually monitor what happens in your body when you step forward, okay? Just to see if you can keep that together, right? Just play around with it. You don't, remember, we're not doing anything fancy with our feet right now. We're just just literally draw a box. If you can't do a box, I can't help you, okay? And then go with the right foot as well. So right side close and then back side together, okay? So just little things like that are what you, as a dancer, start to train yourself to become aware of, because it feels like a lot of information. But again, if you keep it simple and you become aware of what to aim for, your life literally changes, right? That is a massive, massive promise, okay? So let's have a look here. Arms. All right. We'll do arms and then we're going to move into feet. So feel free to leave any comments or questions below. Let's get into this with the frame, baby. Now, let me ask y'all, what is the frame? So the term is simply, think of a picture frame, is the use of the arms. I'll just get out of that black curtain. Right, is the use of the arms to hold the lady and the arms for the lady to hold the man. There's a way we do that. That also includes the hand hold itself, and then there's the poise, so where your head is as the man and where your head is as the lady, which is slightly to the left. So all of this is under posture. So we stack our body, number one. And think of that before you do any routine. Get your body. So if you come in to do any dance and you are in the wrong postural position, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? Because you're not training correctly, and two, your balance is going to be affected. So set your body up properly. Now with the arms, this is what we do. So I'll get you to get your hands, okay? And then, you like that, it's like mad row body. You don't have to do that. And then bring them into your sternum, okay, like that. Now the elbows, if you notice the height of my elbows there, you'll see that I'm trying to keep them level. Now, from here, open the hands out, stretch them in front of your body. So you notice that now they're out diagonally forward, all right? They're not straight to the side. From here, fold the right arm in as the man, left arm as the man as well, like that, 45-degree angle. So you know that this hand is below your eye, all right? Now this creates stability, it should anyway. What you'll notice when you dance though and your posture collapses is often the arms, they droop, they start doing like this bellow thing, like this. And so that's a key sign that you're not holding your body properly and stacking yourself. So if I lower my knees, do this with me. So put your arms up, lower and let your arms go down with it. So what you are aiming to train against is gravity, right? So meaning gravity is always a force. It's bringing your weight to collapse down to the center. And so what you want to feel is as you bend, your upper body here, it's called an opposition spine. You're stretching is the loose word, but essentially you're elongating up to the ceiling. So there's no change in your posture because you're bending, right? You keep that up and down. So you can do a couple of those if you like with your arms in the right position, okay? Keeping the elbows up. If you're weak in your arms, you got to toughen up, yo. Your muscles will get stronger over time. Just holding them out is actually quite difficult for a lot of people. Now imagine putting someone in there and you're both off balance. This is why dancing's a little tricky. So again, we've run on the spot, you're stacking your body, and as you do the box, your arms are up. So that is foundation number one. Booyah. In fact, I prepared a little something special for you all on this one. Let's see if it works. Ready? I'm going to do this one. Which one are we going to do? Which one are we going to do? We'll do this one. Foundation number one. Yeah. Okay, so we got it. We did it. Foundation number one is your posture. So every single time you go forward in dancing for ballroom dancing, particularly practice, you set your posture in the correct position and your arms. Non-negotiable, right? I cannot stress how obsessed I was about this myself. Once I started understanding it, I would set myself up to dance, get my arms up. I'd sometimes notice as I was about to go, I would collapse, I would stop and do it again. Sometimes it would take me 3 or 4 attempts to get my body and my arms in the right position. And then I'd be like, all right, cool, off we go. And then I'd make a mistake or collapse later. So, but by taking the time to actually set up the body correctly, I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but I was actually training an incredibly good habit. And there's no other way to really do it. Like you can't do it in movement, right? You can't do it when the music's on. So the setup is actually the key in that regard. Now, we're not talking about the setup as a couple. We'll do that in the fourth lesson when I actually have a partner here to talk about that, okay? Now, in terms of that, you understand, stack, arms, keep the head in the right position. Let's do that together with our little box, okay? So we'll do with the left foot first. Okay, so stand here, get your little thing, do a little run if you need to, bang. Okay, arms out, and then fold them in. So forward, side, close, and then back, side, together. Now, with the right foot, do it again, little run. I'll just fast track this a little bit, okay? Put the arms in the sternum, fold it out, boom. Okay, now forward on the right. Forward, side, close, and back, side, together. The masterpiece is coming. All right. Make sense? Okay, we're gonna move into the next little part here. We won't train that to music just yet. Part 2 is the feet. Oh yeah, oh my Lord, the feet, the feet, the feet. Do not be defeated. Yeah, I said that live, I can't edit that out. But essentially, we look at the way you use your feet. They are gonna determine pretty much the quality of your dancing, all right? Let's say you get good posture, but your feet suck. And so what do we mean by that? Let me explain this. This is gonna take a little bit, so feel free to get comfy. If we look at the idea of feet, we have at a very basic level something called our footwork. Now footwork, and these are important definitions to know, because I ask students all the time, like, what is footwork? And they've been dancing with me for some time, right? So I'll ask you the question in the chat window here. Hey, what's up everyone? Thank you for that, by the way. So what is footwork? All right, can you tell me? What is footwork? Okay, it is the part of the foot in connection with the floor. Connection with the floor, right? Waltz, foxtrot, quick step, Viennese waltz. Tango is different, right? Connection to the floor. So we actually don't lift our feet off the floor at all. We're trying to keep them on the floor continuously connected. Now, that's the first thing to get right. Foot positions is the other thing. Left foot, right foot. Are you closing Are you passing? Are you in CBMP? Like, what are you actually doing with the feet themselves? Okay, where are they going in terms of direction, and which foot are you actually using as the man or lady? So that's a footwork and foot positions, all right. Now, that is actually the basic level of dancing. In the beginning of your dancing, and sometimes you might have had lessons for a few years, but you may feel that you're not very good, right, by that time. So I've had people come in and they've been dancing for years and they've done medals, they've done competition. They're like, oh my God, I've danced so much, but I feel really stuck. I'm like, my balance is bad, all this, that. And I'll be like, okay, show me the footwork of the steps you're doing. Like, what's footwork? Oh God, no wonder. And so what ends up happening is I say, restart your counter for dancing. Don't measure the years, measure the quality of practice, right? The quality of your training, the quality of the actual application. I'll give you a quick story here. I had a student for many, many years. She started in the teenage kid class. And I remember when she started doing private lessons in her early 20s, I asked her, how long have you been dancing? Because I forgot. And she goes, oh, 10 years. She said sort of proudly. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. How do you feel about that? She goes, oh, I don't feel very good. And I said, now it's interesting, isn't it? Because I would say you're also not very good either for 10 years. And she's like, what? And I said, well, you know, seriously, you could improve more in this next year if you understand what I'm about to tell you. It's not the amount of time that you put in. It is the focus and the deliberate practice that matters. So for example, you can't dance 6 hours a day. In fact, you'll get diminishing returns and you wear your body out. So therefore, you cannot, there's not a unlimited amount of time you can use. So it has to be sustained and deliberate and a very certain way you have to do things. And then you'll find it builds momentum. But she goes, yeah, that makes sense. Because like I used to turn up to class and, and I said, yeah, and you would talk the whole time, to shut up all the time, right? I said, so you weren't focused. You were there because like your mom paid for the lesson. Now you're in it, right? So the point is that what happened over the years, she really did escalate her dancing massively. Now she had a great foundation because she had a lot of exposure to steps and medals. But she was like, damn, like the focus on things changed the game. So when you look at things like feet, do not be confused. It takes you a good 2 to 3 years, and I'm going to dispel another myth in a second here. A good 2 to 3 years to get good footwork, all right? That is heels and toes, closing properly, lowering correctly. Now here's the thing. You might say, but Vaughan, I've actually been doing that for 2 or 3 years. I'll be like, okay, so then look at how much you've actually trained, for real. Do you do that every day for 3 years or 2 years? Or do you do it once a week? Because if it's once a week and you take a couple of weeks off a year, so let's say you do 40 practices a year, okay, for an hour each, so that's 40 hours in a year, and you do that for 2 years, it's 80 hours, isn't it? So you're not going to develop, you're not going to master your feet like that. You have to do it every day, right? So now bump that time out. It's going to take you like 5 times that amount to actually work the feet properly. You see what I'm saying? So just be aware that it's not, what's it called? The frequency that you practice is important, as in, regularly at whatever interval you can do for yourself. You don't have, look, it's up to you. You don't have to do it every day, but I'd say do it every couple of days, 1, 2 day gaps in between are okay. But then focus in on the footwork and getting that going to crush that time together, right? So with that foundation in mind, what then happens with the feet? We have footwork, foot positions, all that sort of thing. And we understand that for every single step we do in all of our dances, every single step, okay, you then start understanding and how to use your feet, what we call musically. So it's not just about heels and toes at all. It is actually how we start shaping the foot. So for example, real quick, this is just to give you some of the high level ideas here that we want to look at. We want to start shaping the foot. So if I'm moving, okay, so and I just take a step forward, step close like this, dance like a bogan, right? This is my box waltz, but it's not danced very well. Okay, but if I learn to use the heels properly and like rise, oh, that's a bit bad, right? So through the screen right there, and I learn to rise, right? And then sort of shape the feet, warm, into position, you start to actually get out of camera, right? Out of view, there we go. Boom, that's better, right? So you can see that the use of my legs and feet, I'm starting to create like a gliding action, yeah? And so there's a whole nother level to the feet once you get them to behave. Okay, so with that framework in mind, let's look at the footwork, all right? We're gonna get back into the box waltz. We use the left foot. Now, first step forward is, and this is important to say as you do it, so you get your frame, all right, got your posture. Now, focus on the feet. So the left foot goes heel toe. The second step is a toe. The third step is a toe, then a heel. Now note the right foot has not You have not put the heel down, okay? Now, take the right foot back, toe, heel, then step to the side on a toe, close on both toes, and lower the right foot only. Now, we call this a weight change. Okay, weight changing is how you will never screw up which foot to use, right? This is, again, we talked about posture. Let's just make sure that that's always in your brain. Now, foundation number 2, critical, understanding the feet and how to change weight. So one of the problems you might have is like, what foot do I use when I dance? Aha, my friend, if you can change your feet properly, you will never ask that again. One of the mistakes people make when they do this step, they'll go heel, toe, toe, the right foot, they'll put it down, and then they'll close their left foot and they'll change weight. You'll be like, what the fuck? Are you a burlesque dancer? What you doing with those legs there, Gary? Right? Nobody wants to see those old man knees. What the fuck? So you have to close properly, right? You have to close properly, lower subtly. Now, don't pop your knee in the air, all right? And certainly don't change your feet 3 or 4 times, okay? So we call this a weight change. Now, if we can do it again, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more on here. How are you liking this? You enjoying it? I'm enjoying it. Let's go take you off. We're gonna get some big screen foot action right there. Okay, right. Okay, there you go. Maybe I should start an only dance account, right? Check out my feet, baby. Let's go. Okay, so if we can go forward, I'll do it towards you now. And by the way, you like my ankles? Pretty nice, eh? Right, so we go forward 1. There's a heel and then a toe as you go to the side on both toes, all right? Close together with both feet together in contact with the floor. Which foot goes down, baby? The one that just came in, the left foot. Now, if I exemplify it, that right foot has not lowered. Then it can move, yeah? Then I go back, toe, heel, release that toe to the side, up, close, and lower. So now because I haven't like tap danced, I should continuously be able to do this box. Now, if we do it with the right foot this time, so first of all, I'll do the left again, just so you can follow. So go heel, toe, 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 heel, then toe, heel, toe, toe, heel. Okay, now with the right foot, let's go. So right foot, heel, toe, 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 heel, and the left foot, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel. Okay, there you go. That is your footwork. All right, let's bring this back up here. Boom. So I should really use this. It's probably a bit easier. All right. Now, what are we focusing on then if we're using the footwork, right? So heels and toes. We're actually trying to use that to create something called rise. Rise and lowering. Because fall, which in the technique book it's called rise and fall, but for those who have actually done a few lessons and have a bit of basic technique, it really should be like rise and, it should be rise and lower, right? In the sense of what your feet do, and then your body weight falls, right? So we use 3 things. Now we're gonna get into that maybe a little bit later, but that starts to get a bit harder. I found if you start to use the correct footwork and really understand how to rise like heel toe, like transfer the weight, you will notice that you actually go up. Now the trick is to make sure you stay on your toes when you hear toe, toe, heel, okay? Count 2 and 3. So in Waltz, which in the next part of this we'll get into timing and I'll explain how that works, but we're actually trying to move through our feet in a way that creates a beautiful ebb and flow. That's where that lovely look comes from. That's very elegant. The softer and smoother you can make that, the more graceful you look. And that's in relationship to your footwork, okay? Now remember, posture's still in there, and I know it sounds like a lot to think about, but the more you train your posture, the easier that actually gets to maintain, and then you start focusing really hardcore on the feet and legs. Okay, now what are we trying to mainly do? So if you were to surmise like the posture, what are you trying to do there? It's to stay stacked. If you were to surmise the feet, what are you trying to do? It is to make sure that you use the correct footwork and you close properly and you lower properly in the waltz, right? So if we close correctly with our feet completely together, let's just see this, boom. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, hold on. I just realized something here. Thank you all for being patient on this first one. There, I'll just do it like that. Okay, it's probably a bit easier. Okay, so if I do it like this. So if I can get my feet, right, to go up properly, the heels are off the floor, and then lower the heels properly, I'm gonna have a good chance at knowing how to step forward and step backward properly throughout that. By the way, there's a video on my YouTube channel on the forward and backward walk, and that is probably I didn't want to start with that today because I got a video that you can actually go through to understand how to move your feet a little better, because there's so much information, right? But fundamentally, you get your footwork, you get your side step, and you make sure you close together neatly. Now notice that, that's why I showed the foot cam. Your feet are together, your ankles are together. So you're not like this up in the air, like a wobbling Bambi, okay? A little drunk Bambi in the bush, right? No, heels together, all right? So you wanna make sure they come together completely. And again, the toes as well. So you got your toes like that. Not slightly forward, not open, yeah? That isn't closed. So that's unusual. Now, if you're a dude learning for the first time, congratulations, man. You're in the top percentage of dudes. Awesome, right? Chicks love a guy that can dance. Just look at Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing. My God, right? So the thing is, you want to be able to move your feet properly and close correctly. That's the skill, hence the box waltz. And I'm stressing it because most people can't close correctly. What ends up happening, especially when they start turning, is their weight's wrong because their posture's bad or their hold's bad. And then as they go to close their feet, they lose their balance, right? Now, there's a reason for that we're going to get into down the track further on. But for now, it's just plenty for you to focus on the footwork. Now, let's try it with some music. All right, so follow me at home. We will, or in the office, or wherever you are, you brave soul. So let's work this together now with the music. I should be able to hear it. There is, just for all the, there's always someone in the comments that's like, you're dancing off time. It's like, motherfucker. It's called latency, all right? Even between my computer and hearing it and it going live, there's a few milliseconds in terms of gap. But I don't blame you because you don't know what you're doing, right? And so when you look at it come on screen, it may not be exact, but the main thing for you is that you can at least hear it and get an idea. So we take the risk, Here we go. Okay, we'll start with the left foot close change. Now we're gonna focus on the footwork. I want you to go up on your toes on the second step and the third step, and then lower one heel only, okay? Then we'll do the right foot close change, okay? So again, what do you do in the beginning? Get your body in the right position. Just notice, were you like, I even noticed myself, my shoulders started like chilling a little bit, like down. I was like, ah. So little run, what's up? Do the run, okay? Get your hands in, fold that shit up, right? Frame. Then do the thing. Okay, here we go. Okay? Right foot. So. Okay. So you can do as many of those as you want. We'll learn to connect those. It's not too much of a problem actually connecting them when we come into that next week, but at least that way you're starting to train the feet correctly. Okay. Now, let's move into the next natural, logical part of this, which is the actual music and timing. Oh yeah, fist pump. Doing it together, it's amazing. Okay, so posture, feet, and of course, the timing. So what's the counter waltz, ladies and gentlemen? 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's our counts. The time signature is 3, 4. All that means is 3 beats to a bar. Now, you don't need to be a musician to understand this, but what we try to do in the beginning stages of dance, because the footwork is actually quite difficult, getting that rise through the feet, again, that's something that is probably better if you'd like, we can do a further in-depth masterclass on things like that, because it is absolutely key to creating a good effect. The thing is though, 1 beat, 1 step. That's the way to think of the waltz. So when you hear the count 1, you should be at your arrival point. When you hear count 2, you should be at the next step, and count 3, typically you'd be closing. And this exercise, you're definitely closing and lowering, right? Now, what ends up happening with music in waltz is we rise at the end of 1, and we're rising through our feet. That's why the heel and toe is so important. That's 1. You have to go up at the end of 1. 2 is on a toe, so that's where you're sort of ascending the peak of the mountain. And then 3, you close on both toes and lower 1 foot. Now, I know you've heard me say that, but that is how we time it to the music. Our form of dancing is called strict tempo. It means that each beat is equal in between, and the technique that we're working with actually works with the music, because the music was written for our technique. So it's like a beautiful harmony, okay? With that in mind, I want you to now do something for me. You're gonna have to count. Oh, yeah. This is where people shy away the most. My coach used to make me count all the time. I was mortified. Like, I went red, I felt sweaty, I felt everyone was looking at me like, my God, they see my knees shattered, they see me sweating. The thing is, it was a very good thing to do. I knew it was good, but I hated it too. And I noticed that over time I got better at it because it's what? A skill. Very few people, especially when you're learning the steps and you got the footwork, the mapping of the count to the steps is like, my God. And then you feel bad. It's like, no, everybody sucks in the beginning. So we're going to practice counting first and not dancing. So let's do this together. And again, there might be a little bit of latency problems. So just take a chill pill. Take a chill pill there out there if you're stressing about that. But you can count, and I'll try to do the finger thing if that helps. One, two, three. One. Your turn. Okay, so there's something called an accent, a strong beat in the music that we can hear clearly. One is the strong beat in waltz. That's where our drive or our step backwards occurs, and that's where there's a nice swing from that. When we look at taking the second step and third step, it's not as big necessarily. I mean, it's quite a stretch when you really start getting up there in the levels, but the feeling that is because you're rising is the movement's going upward, right? Okay, and you want to feel that through your feet, legs, and body, and then we lower at the end. It's got this beautiful like swing and arc to it. So what we now do is you've counted it without the, without dancing it. So that's a little measure in and of itself. Do that as you drive around. It helps a lot with just getting familiar with saying it. Now, how do we count? We count with our mouth, people. We count with our vocal cords, air coming through them. You have to hear yourself. You have to count with a little bit of confidence. It doesn't have to be loud, but you can't be like 1, 2, 3. Like, no. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Say it with me now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you hear that? Right. So the way I count on that, instead of going 1, 2, 3, it actually matters as well. Now, in the beginning phases, what we're going to do is aim to count and take the steps at the same time. So let's do it in this order. We'll just do the pattern again, like as in just don't worry about the footwork. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do it with the footwork so you can feel the difference between like the rise and fall. Okay. And again, you're going to need to do, if you're, the old beginners out there, you're going to have to do this lesson again and again and again. Okay. So let's look at the without music first. What am I attempting here? I'll do with a foot cam. Yeah. So here we go. Right. Feet together. Okay. Just the pattern. Got your arms up still. Now count it. So 1, then to the side, 2, 3, then back. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. And you could count it 4, 5, 6 if you wanted to, but that can get confusing. Now with the right foot, here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now with that in mind, that was without music. Let's do it with music. See how we go. 2, 3, 1. Okay, other leg. So I didn't do any of the footwork there, but that at least helps you to map the timing depending on your level, because I'm not sure exactly everyone's level, obviously, here. Now we're going to do it again with the proper footwork, right? Heels and toes, and note the timing in relationship to the going up and lowering. So the footwork and the timing are best buddies, man, the best buddies. So this is, by the way, what do you think is going to happen when you do this? You're probably going to lose balance. So what we have to focus on is still maintaining good posture, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that at the end in terms of balance lines. But the idea is that your closing movement, you should have perfect balance, feet completely together at the end of 3, ready to step on 1. Now let's do it without music. So feet together, right? So what do you do? Little run, yeah, there it is. There's that posture. Okay, arms, fold them out. Man, fold them, lady, okay? Whatever you do, just maintain the arm line. Now, with the left foot, using the proper footwork now, let's count. So we go 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 3. Okay, try again. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Now, if ever a time for foot cam, it is here. Here we go. Now, yeah, do a little shuffle back. Here we go. Let's see how close we get. Okay, here we go. And so here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now note at the end, if you can, try not to let that heel be too high. Okay, but the weight is definitely changed. All right, my friends, we're gonna do that with I didn't do it with the other leg. Let's do it with the right foot. Okay, here we go. And ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, music. Left foot, 2, 3, 1. Okay, how'd you go? All right, it's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, that takes ages. And that's why I said basics are not above anyone's level. It takes a lot of time. Even if you understand the feet and you're like, yeah, I've been doing that for a while. Your posture, how's that doing, right? How's your arms? Are they dropping? Because you should feel in your arms, even though you can't see it, my arms feel very equal and balanced. There's no dipping or dropping, right? My headline and my eyes, I'm trying to keep them up. You see, so there's so many things we can do, and you want easy patterns to do that stuff in, man. Okay, so we did our counts, no music, basic pattern, then with the correct feet. And what are you trying to do to bring them all together? You must keep those 3 foundations in your mind. Now, here's where I'll give you a little bit of grace, just a little bit. When you look at the actual timing itself, mapping your steps to time literally takes time, okay? It's more important in the beginning to get the use of your feet, so the heels and toes, closing correctly, lowering correctly, than try to rush that to be on time. The more you rush it to be on time, you'll notice that you create bad habits as well. So there is a delicate dance, yeah, pun intended, between getting the correct technique and then just like smashing the music all the time. So you have to find your own style in this sense. So as a loose framework, practice your feet by yourself, solo, 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 count as you dance, and then map it to music, right? So you do it sort of in that framework, but not 100% of the time always to music, right? That's where you can start to get bad habits. So don't be afraid of doing it because you can't not do it, right? Obviously, but you have to approach it a little strategically. Find what works for you. It's like, yeah, I find if I have like 10 minutes, if I just do a box waltz in the kitchen, see, that's how you practice every day, by the way. You don't need a dedicated space, but you focus on the feet going up and down, and you do that enough, timing starts to land. In my own professional career, I noticed that I don't know why I say career. Ballroom dancing is not a career. It's a weird, I don't know why people say that. Arts is not a career. I do not understand that weird definition. Anyway, so mainly because there is no pathway for that sort of thing, right? You can't go to uni for it. It's self-created, etc. And it's artistic. So how can it be a career? Anyway, I digress. When we look at the actual development of the movement and the footwork, right? So you can do that in the kitchen, all right? You use your heels and toes properly, and then you'll notice as you go to do it to music, it's like it starts to click. Now, as a professional, I noticed myself going through these. So imagine a stock market graph trending upward, yeah? That is your improvement because you're doing the masterclass. Yeah, you are. And I'm going to make you fucking awesome. That's my promise to you. If you do the work here, you will be very good. But I noticed something that worried me because the ego can get quite big as you become better, right? So you have to keep that shit in check. What does that is the humbling effect of knowing your basics are not there yet, right? And so I realized, I asked my coach, her name is Anne Gleave, and she was over in England, beautiful woman, like Anna Richard, top coaches, right? And so I asked her, like, okay, I am not able to dance on time with this new information you've given me. It was like blew my mind. It was such good information. My body was ready for it. It was so hard to do. And for those wondering, feeling bad in class if I do a basic with you, the whole time I was in England, I was just doing like a spin turn and like whisks and shit. Like I was not doing anything complicated. Man, it was hard to do right with all the mechanics and everything happening and no tension. And I said, I'm off time. I was like so prideful being on time. And what she said was great. She said, look, that's okay. When you're developing, you're going to go backwards. I said, oh, you mean like a dance step? No, like you actually go backwards a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. So I knew, because I sort of understood that, it helped me with the process, because I didn't realize, oh my God, I'm getting worse. The development was actually my body reshaping itself, retraining a new way, because I hit a ceiling, right? So I was on time, and listen to this, I was dancing on time, but badly, okay? Because I was inefficient, I was too tense. My body was too strong, because I'm a strong dude, right? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna waltz, you check this out, right? It's a little violent, you know, but I was so excited, I just wanted to move on to power. So I was doing lots of wasted motion, wasted energy, using my body incorrectly. Had the footwork, right? Never had to have my footwork corrected. She was like, you have the best like technique in that regard. I was like, fantastic. She goes, we should do work on the mechanics of that. I said, that sounds amazing. What's that? And so, and then that's where the unpicking began. I was like, damn, because I had the foundation of the feet and the legs, and that was just there, the unpicking of the upper body it was easy to do in a sense, hard to implement, right? Easy to learn, hard to implement. And then I went backwards, my timing went way off. And I was like, damn it, I'm a professional. Why am I going off time? But again, I was recalibrating, yeah? And that's the thing. So even if listen to this, y'all, even if you're on time, you could be dancing like shit, all right? So keep that in your mind. Your goal is not necessarily to dance on time. I mean, it is, but the way you do it is more important. For example, how would you measure the happiness level of your partner, man or woman, right? So if you're too tight, they're not going to like dancing with you. You could be on time all you like. It's just not going to like it, are they? They'll walk up and be like, no, I'm not dancing with them again. Too bad I'm married to him. Ha ha. Anyway, so the idea being, you need to know how to build these foundations through your body. And then if you go backwards a little bit, it's all good, right? It's part of the process. Just don't stay there too long. And this is where it's important to have feedback. So for example, plug time, join me in Ballroom Mastery Academy Access, where monthly I will curate and go over and review some, if you're the chosen one, of your videos. But I'll definitely answer your question. Check it out in the comments below and join me for a free month. It'll be really cool. We'll work together, catapult things into the air. All right, cool. So let's backtrack. What do we do? Posture, little run, get your body right, stack it, frame. Number one. Number two, pattern with the correct feet and close correctly. And number three, count it and do it to time, right? Put those two together. You have a lot to do, because here's what we're going to do now. We're going to break that, we're going to put that together for the end of the, what do you call it? The end of this masterclass. Now, if you've enjoyed this, let me know, because I've got, by the way, there's a competition coming up I'd like to talk to you about, so hang with me, please. The Masterclass series, I want to keep doing this across all of the dancers, all right? So beginner level for all 10. That's my specialty. World Professional 10 Dance is what I've represented Australia in several times, and 2 from every country only get that privilege. It's highly sought after, and then you go and compete against the other 2 best couples from the world. It's awesome. And so my specialty was 10 dance because I couldn't quite decide. Do I love ballroom, Latin? Just depended on the day, right? So I love teaching it, and I want to create that framework within the sort of 4 lessons, solo, and then some partnering stuff until we get through the 10 dances. Now, if that's something you're interested in, make sure you get on the email list so I can ask you some personal questions. Feel free to email me. Like you can send me questions if you like, that sort of thing. I'm here to help you. It's part of the reason why I do this as not only a business, but like I put a lot more out than I get paid for in that regard, because of the cost to put a video on and put it together is quite a lot. I love doing this though, right? So it's going to be reciprocal, because I really want you to win. And I don't think a lot of people actually invest and give back very much in the dance community without it always being a trade-off for something. So obviously I want to make money in my business, but the thing for me is that this is like a bit of a passion, right? It's something I love to do, and I love doing it at scale with tens of thousands of you around the world learning off me, and I love that. So thank you. But I really do want to help you. So if that's something that's of interest to you, let me know, because I want to piece that together and figure out like how we're going to do this, whether we do it all on YouTube all the time, or if we do it in a more closed community where I can actually bring you in and coach you live and things like that. Okay, so there's lots of ideas that I have, and I'll need a little bit of feedback from you to best guide that. So tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. Probably for me, it's a bit more too much black on black, so I'll get some white shirts up in here next time. But anyway, I've loved bringing this to you. Here's the competition. Let's look at how this works. What's up, competition? Bang. Prize giveaway. Yeah. So we'll just soften that music right now. Okay, so all right. Here's what you're going to do. Practice that box waltz. Over the next 2 weeks, so week 1, 2, 3, lesson 1, 2, 3, I would like you to aim to create a certain improvement in yourself. So what is your outcome for you today as a result of this lesson? Then practice it. Now, in week 3, I want you to video yourself. This is gonna terrify you, but do it, okay? I know, because I film myself live. Who the hell knows what can happen, right? So let's, you film it, and then I'll give you a link to submit the video. I'm still working out the back end of how the contest is gonna be picked, but I'm thinking something like random selection. So either the community picks, or there's a randomizer that picks, but you have to be in it to win it. And what we're looking for, you can either film each week and put it together, but it's a bit of work. Really just in week 3, I'll have whatever that pattern is that week, you'll have between that lesson, week 3 and 4, to record and submit your video to win some free merchandise, some shout outs. So we're looking at hoodies, we're looking at some like hats. You might be like, oh, I don't wear caps. I'll be like, no, that's because these caps are awesome. You'll wear these ones, right? Especially if they're free. So yeah, I want to do that as a thank you as well, and to also get my ass into gear to get that merch going. So yeah, let's work together. But here's the thing about videoing, even if it terrifies you, it's probably a good thing to do, because it is a tool that I often recommend dancers use to actually see what they look like versus how they feel. My God, last night I had a student, and I just had to have snapping duck spell. I just went at it. I was like, listen, it doesn't matter how you feel. You're wrong. How you're dancing is horrible right now. And you know, he needed to hear that because it was just bad. And I said, so you feeling that way doesn't matter because it's wrong. But you know what? When you get it right, it's gonna feel better, isn't it? So it's not about your emotional state here. We're trying to get the technique right so it feels good. And it's not your partner's fault. So stop blaming your partner, God damn it. That's what irritates me more than anything. It's not your partner's fault. You both need to be good. Anyway, so yeah, he could do with some free merch, I reckon. But the point is that I want you to track your progress. Aim for a goal, aim for something you want to work towards. And then by videoing it, you actually improve, because it's terrifying to do it, because you might do it a few times and you're like, oh my God, I look bad. And so you stretch yourself even more. So even if you never send it to me, it's actually an incredibly powerful tool, and it's sort of secret weapon in that sense, okay? I mean, I have members in my community who've been filming themselves for a few years, and they've been coming through, and I really should put some of them online, because, you know, some of them are in their 70s, you know, and they've just started dancing, and you can see like, oh my God, they're using their feet better, they're swinging better, their legs, wow, that's amazing. And you can notice the progress. So that's a little tip for y'all. In either case, thank you for being here. Check out ballroommastery.tv, be on the email list, tell your friends, don't tell your competitors. And then I'll see you next week for the next Q&A.